So when artists typically go on tour, the phrase is "we're going to hit the road," and as we've mentioned a little bit with y'all, it's a little different. It's hit the open seas with you guys, right? So
It can
um,
be.
I would love to hear kind of your decision process, both of y'all, behind this endeavor, going out on the ocean and playing music. I imagine it's just a combining of two passions, right?
Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
is it exactly. You know, people think a lot that they go together really well. Um, Not necessarily a lot of the time, because especially sailing, it's a very slow endeavor. You're based completely on the weather. It's tough. So when we go to somewhere, you have to have contracts way ahead in case. Sometimes it's tough for rehearsals. The physicality doesn't go together. The mental um, inspiration absolutely goes together. Which leads into the writing.
Right. And it's gonna let that nomadic life is always probably present as well, and that can be really cool in a musical sense as well, you know?
That's how we've always lived. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of the Troubadour. In fact, I used to have a show called Songbirds and Troubadours, which I loved the concept of it. But y'all are really the truest sense of that word, the troubadour. So I would love to hear, as traveling musicians, what are some of the struggles y'all have really faced? Usually I say on the road, but I guess on the sea at this point, right?
Oh, well, yeah, well, as Michael started to indicate, boats are slow and they're weather dependent. So it doesn't really work to schedule a gig, say, in Boston from Virginia, let's say in November. You're not going to get there by boat.
Right.
Probably not on time. You'd have to leave in September. So, that reality doesn't really work. Some of the more fun challenges were when we made landfall in Antigua and were heading to shore to do a gig and had to load all the equipment into a dinghy and then row that to shore. That was, a little
So,
precarious, but
so,
a lot of fun.
What a
yeah. So we
visual.
we did we
Yeah,
did that for a
yeah.
while. We played the tiki hut scene. Coming out of Buffalo, New York. I just remember clearly on a January. You're in an inflatable
New
dinghy
Year's
with a
Eve.
little PA, all your stuff, little outboard. And breaking down from the gig, going back to the boat that's at anchor in English Harbor, and it's just beautiful. You're in paradise. And I was thinking, oh, my own bandmates are loading out at 10 below and they're falling in the ice. And I'm going, this isn't so bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those reminders
but
are probably ever present, right?
but yeah, they are. But
Yeah.
but the thing that I think has helped is when we get to somewhere, we like to stay somewhere for a while and trying to immerse ourselves in the music that's there, in the lifestyle that's there, in the folk scene that's there. Everywhere you go, there's going to be the pop music that's happening. But if you can get a few layers below that, and that really starts to influence writing.
Yeah.
To me, that's where the beauty is. And if I can become part of all of that, that's really my goal.
And I imagine the foundation of music translates no matter which language or land that you happen to find yourself in as well.
It does.
Usually, yes.
It,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. It's interesting to see the songs that, let's say, for example, in France, where if you have an audience that doesn't speak or understand much English, it's interesting to see the songs that they really gravitate toward and what grooves them compared to the lyric.
Yeah. That's going to
but
be
but
something to
but even
see.
even
It
there, we
is.
played. I mean, it was a real wake up. We played. This has to be 10 years ago, maybe more. A show in Lyon, France, and it's a little club. Um, so I was going. Well, I'm not going to do my usual stories. I think I'm going to bore people. And we did like a two-set night, and had a couple come up and go, "Would you? We've driven 2 hours to hear the stories. Just speak slow." He goes, "We'll probably get the story, but if you just speak slow, but don't bypass the stories because you think we don't understand." and that was like a slap to the forehead. That
That's
was
amazing.
such such a wake up call on how to perform in another country. I mean, that
Good.
was like a big lesson.
Man, well, yeah, what a great lesson to learn, and kudos to that person for even
Yeah,
taking the time to do that. Amazing stuff. Most songwriters, I've had a lot of songwriters on this show. It's one of the honors of a lifetime to be able to pick the brains of creative people, and you guys, your story is just so different than anything I've ever encountered before. So, um, again, the stories take as long as you want. I have no time like the present, and I love the story. So don't ever rush through your stories. I'd love to hear them. But I met
okay,
like most songwriters' creative cups, in my view, in my experience, are typically filled with life experiences and kind of the experiences of people they encounter along their journey. So sometimes,
absolutely.
if you're not writing from your own perspective, you maybe see somebody on a corner and you start creating a story for that person on the corner, and you're writing for that perspective. But your life experiences, not only as a songwriter but as a performing couple, have taken you guys so much further than other people all over the world. So, do the people and the characters that you guys encounter on your trips, do they find themselves into your songs?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, yeah. It's basically a line that I use that if I stole it from anybody, it's from Jimmy Buffett. That never be surprised if you find yourself on one of my songs, because that's your inspiration. That it really is. Are those people, and you run into things that are just way different, that are just crazy. We were playing a show in Switzerland, and there's a guy out there who's got like he sort of looks like, it's hard to explain, a Swiss biker maybe. This guy's got jet black hair and a mohawk, looks like this hard guy. At the end of the show, he comes up, gives Amy a hug, and asks her to sign his head, or his head was shaved. Where does that happen? I mean, so it's just like, brilliant moments that just make you smile and warm your heart, and that leads into everything you do.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to
Amazing.
hear that. It's just I've heard so many stories about just people watching as a songwriter, just kind of keeping an eye on somebody. Maybe they're just sitting at a cafe or something and inventing a backstory. It's just so cool.